Hi everybody. So now let's get our prop set up. Take that color chart out that we could later use for color calibration, and make sure that all the exposures are set correctly. Make sure that this box is set fine. As I said previously, we don't want to place object like this because when geometry is built, it would be pretty hard to do the separation between two different geometries, even if we do all the masking and everything automatically, removing the box and everything around it. So it's always better to add some clearance there, because it would be a lot easier to handle it. Make sure it's all positioned nicely. Obviously it's a little bit too high. Let's drop it gently. There you go, that should be good. Yep, that's pretty good. And this is another thing I wanted to point out. Some people ask, like, how do you place those markers on these boxes? Why do you have 5 and so on and so forth? Again, the reason is that you want to increase visibility and chances of those being visible from as many positions as possible. Like in this case, we kind of cut half of that box, but we still see like 3 markers on the top. If the object was larger, some of these at the top could be occluded. In other cases, it's the opposite. We can push the whole thing up and even more stuff would be occluded closer to the object. So it's really just placing them such that it would increase chances of them being visible and decrease chances of occlusion, so to speak. Let me make sure that it's all centered nicely there and it's good to go. In this case it would be a lot better. I'm going to switch to autofocus and make sure we capture something around his eyes. That would be ideal. That's hard. Well, that was good. Something like that. Yeah, something like that would be good. Though in this case, it would be a lot easier to connect to this camera remotely or over USB and do a few image captures on PC, open it in Photoshop and do all the pixel picking and make sure that everything is good. Also maybe rotate it 45 degrees and do a shot there to make sure everything is in focus and so on. Here I think it will be fine, because even if I start zooming, it's really hard to inspect anything on such a small screen. So we just for now assume that everything is focused and everything is good. I think it should be good. At least the focus points that it showed there, those are good. Again, just make sure we're in manual. Yes, we are. And here the idea is that, as I said in the introductory video, there are different ways of utilizing this setup in general. One way is when it stays static like this, a little bit angled, maybe 20 to 30 degrees, a bit looking at the object from the top, and then when we scan something solid, we just flip the object around and change the skin on that support structure. We use different boxes and stuff like that. That's probably, I don't know, 80% of the stuff we have posted on Sketchfab. That's how it's scanned. And in the first video I showed the other setup in the corner. That's pretty much stays there, and it gets adjusted very rarely. Another solution, of course, if you scan something that like a bag or something that you cannot, that's not solid, that can deform while you handle it. Obviously, in that case, the only solution is to move the whole rig, like do the loop, then go to like 35 degrees, 30, 35, do the loop, and then around 60 degrees, do the loop, then from the bottom. But then you would still have to flip it. And obviously, we have a setup where it's basically 3 of these rigs with some overlap, the 24 lights total, that form a whole 180 degree arc with 3, 4, 5 cameras, and then you can go about capturing all that stuff and do it much faster. So I think everything is set up there. We did check the exposure. I know that these settings are good for this prop. All that on our end is good. So it's 14.2 seconds, so 15 would be a good thing. So let's turn that off. Let's switch to SERP app and go to, instead of 12, go do the whole 16 shots there. Make sure it's 15 seconds. Okay, good. So I think everything is set up well. Let me turn this ambient light off. So you can see a bit of ambient on that object right now. I hope it's not, it won't be a problem. I think right now it's the morning already, so we've been shooting here pretty much all night, so it's getting brighter, but that's going to be fine. Not going to affect the quality so much. So I'm gonna hit record, and I'll just step aside, and I'll probably later on, if the video is too long, I can speed it up. All right, it looks like that that sequence is over. Let's go back to the original one, to the original position. So we got 696. Perfect. All the whole loop is captured. Looks like there are no misses. That's pretty good. Alright, and now let's go back, turn our lights on so we can see the thing. So the next step is, so that was just one loop. That's obviously not enough because we want to see the top of the prop and the bottom. So we have to flip it. Important thing is that we have to change the box as well. Otherwise, the alignment will prioritize that detail over whatever we have there, and you basically have a total mess, and you would have to, there's still a way to recover. You would have to, for the other loop, mask out that other, like basically the same box, but we don't want to do that. And we typically have like a library of a lot of different things that are handy there. And in this case, I'm just going to take this one out, take this sleeve off, and put another one on. There you go. It doesn't have any markers. We can put some more. Whenever you use those markers, it's a lot easier if you never reuse the same ones. In this particular case, we don't have any. That's fine because it will do all the estimates we need from that first one. But now it also has slightly different texture, so there's no overlap between them. We'll make sure, well, this one is easy, but next time we take this off, just make sure you set it aside and don't mix it up. And now we want to get another shot where it's rotated, and this particular shot should work just fine. There's obviously not much we can do about attachments there, but hopefully it's not going to be too bad. It looks a bit crooked to me. I mean, the placement of the box. Is it good? Like that. It's hard to tell. I think a bit to the left. Maybe something like that. It looks about right. And we can move the whole thing just a little tiny bit. A little tiny bit. Yeah, I think that looks good to me. Let's see. Yeah, polarizations work. That's great. Camera is rolling. So everything looks good as far as I can tell. So let's go back to turntable app and just fire another sequence. Well, let me actually turn the lights off first. And yep, go, and we'll be back when it's done. Right, looks like this this loop is over. Let's reset it. There you go. Go back. Turn the lights on. Let's see what we got there. 1080. There you go. Another 1080 shot. So I mean, not another 1080, but another one without misses. So our basically frame rate and all the capture settings are good there. So that was the minimum basically. When we build this asset, you would see prop and cameras going one way and in a circle, and another circle that would be perpendicular to that. That's the minimum that's needed to build a good prop. And here let's go and try. Ideally you want to have 3 like perpendicular, like 1, 2 and 3 perpendicular. I hope I'm showing something. I hope you can actually see, like, yeah, one circle plane, then another one, and then another perpendicular, so 3 ones. So that would be ideal for this prop, and we wouldn't need to do anything extra. So let's try and see if we can put it maybe on the side. So it was like this, so we need to try to put it on the side. And I'm going to set one aside so we don't mix anything. Let's put another sleeve on. So as you can see, it's the same box, just with different skins on it, so to speak. And looks more or less centered to me. So let's try something. Might not be ideal, but might not be too bad either. So the worst case scenario, that's the reason why we want to shoot it a bit from the top, so that in case if there's any occlusion of some of these parts, it won't be occluded directly by the box. But if something like that happens, then there is a way to go about it with masking, and if we have to do it, then we'd have to do it. Another way is to try to find something that we can put it on. Let me see. I'm not sure. I should have prepared something probably that I didn't. That looks pretty I don't know. That might work or not. It may also looks pretty. You know, we'll try that. I think that should work. It's a bit I don't know, it's pretty rigid. So we'll try that. So if it drops, I don't think it will, but it might. You never know. But I'm making sure that because I can see here that it's I can see in this view that it's centered in the camera, sort of. not quite, but close. That's not too bad. It might be just good enough. But that's not bad. And I'm right now checking from the side to make sure that it's sort of centered there as well. And I think, yeah, if that works, that would be good. That should work. Let's yeah, I think that's gonna work. It's great. Turn it off. Go back. So let's do the math. So right now we are at 1080 plus, well, 1080 actually 12 times 24, 288 plus 1080. So we should have 1368 photos when it's done. Oh, let's go for it. Turn that ambient off, record. There you go, it just finished, and I think just a few seconds or maybe a minute ago the recording stopped there, but we're back with that one, and let's see, let's recycle, let's turn our lights on, and we should have 1368 photos. Let's verify. 1464. Okay, it looks like I did some calculation wrong. We had 1080 before, yeah, but then we have 16 times 24, okay, plus 1080, 1464. That's it. Yep, everything is good. So we did not have any misses, any misfires. So we got our prop, and everything looks good there just from the pictures. So I think at least for this specific one we don't need to capture anything anything more than that. So at this point, this is something that we would use directly. One thing, while it was spinning, I was noticing that there might be some problems with that occlusion. So if that happens, that will be part of the more advanced tutorial where we can build geometry or mask things out that are problematic like that. Obviously, but we'll see. Maybe it's not a problem. So I think at this point it will conclude the prop capture stuff. So we captured all like 3 different planes of cameras. That's more than enough to build high quality materials and reconstruct all the geometry. 16 steps is more than enough. Having those support boxes, helpers also would result in very robust camera registration, so I'm not expecting any issues there, even though when we use custom functionality and drive turntables, we would use more advanced, utilize more advanced sequencing where it would take more regular simple photogrammetry shots compared to full photometry. So full photometry in this case, it's all 24 shots, but we can subdivide it where it would do like full photometry every other step, and everything in between would be just a single light, 2 polarizations. So that way you can still get a lot more data just for photogrammetry process and for camera registration process, without spending extra more than needed to reconstruct materials. So I think we'll end this prop capture tutorial here, and we'll get back to this once we start processing all the data.